It has been a soaker of a Thursday across central and eastern Kentucky. We'll track what remains of the flash flood threat just ahead.
Heavy rain causing flash flooding problems in some communities. We'll show you who had to deal with high water.
It's been a long time in the making, but Lexington police say this week body cameras were delivered. What happens between now and mid-August when officers are equipped with those cameras? Coming up.
WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
Good afternoon to you. Heavy rain continues to move across the area this afternoon.
Several inches have fallen already, and some towns, some communities remain under a flash flood watch because of that. Let's go right now to our chief meteorologist, Chris Bailey, for an update on this WKYT First Alert Severe Weather Day.
Yeah, a little better news now compared to how we started out the day. No active flood or flash flood warnings into central and eastern Kentucky. Flash flood watch is now out for eastern Kentucky, and this is only for the current band of rain that is out there. It's going to be one of those setups to where you may see flash flood watches issued for every thunderstorm complex. They drop them, issue them again, and that's over the next 48 hours. I could see additional thunderstorm clusters creating some problems. Defender radar network right now across southeastern Kentucky, where we're getting in on some of the heavier rains. It's not going to take much to create some local issues here. Williamsburg into Barberville, Knox County, a little farther to the east. Heavy rain here south of Hazard, over toward Hyden into Leslie County. Get to the north, Campton, some downpours. Likewise, Beattyville had a little report of some minor flooding right now coming out of the Mount Vernon area into Rockcastle County. Interstate 64, it is a lighter brand of rain, a little more gentle brand of rain compared to what we had earlier in the day when we had flooding into Mount Sterling, into parts of Clark County, into parts of Bath County. Lexington Metro, for now, a little better weather is blowing into town. But look what else may try to blow into town later this evening. Thunderstorms developing into parts of Indiana. Those are going up quickly right now and will die from northwest to southeast. Chances are they begin to weaken a little bit as they cross the Ohio River, but we'll have to keep a very close eye on that because the trajectory on that, again, taking whatever is out there from northwest to southeast. The overall flow has one front across southeastern Kentucky, and coming up in a few minutes, guys, we'll show you another front and why a little more concerned now about a repeat performance as we go into the weekend.
Chris, thank you. Now, the heavy rains have already caused waters to go up in a few Kentucky communities.
A viewer sent us this video from Montgomery County. You can see high water reaching a woman's car tires and her home's bottom step before receding. WKYT's Jim Caldwell shows us more of the flooding around Montgomery County in our top story at 5.
When we first arrived here earlier today, Hingston Creek was not here. It was also over here into the sidewalk and covered up a big chunk of East Main Street, which shut down the road for an extended period of time. And that's crucial for one of the main roads through town. Crews were out in the county monitoring high water issues. The heavy rains from the overnight and early morning hours led to high water issues here in Mount Sterling and throughout Montgomery County. Estimates suggest that nearly 3 inches of rain have fallen in and around the area. Luckily, there were no reports of any water in homes. However, at one time, there were around 6 roads covered throughout the county.
Main Street here in Mount Sterling, of course, was closed, and then Locust at Tenney. Then there's a couple out in the county, and when they close, residents have trouble getting home sometimes. There's a lot of subdivisions out that way.
With more rounds of rain trying their best to work through the area, that's going to keep citizens around here looking at First Alert Defender radar network to see exactly what's coming. In Mount Sterling, I'm WKYT meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
Road crews braved the rain to try and stop flooding on a Lawrence County road. Emergency management posted this video from Kentucky 32 to Facebook. The workers were removing pipes from a construction site to help with the flow of water. Once they removed a pipe, that water cleared that road. Remember, we can help you keep up with the weather on the go. Just download the WKYT traffic and weather app to your iPhone or smartphone.
Breaking news involving the Zika virus and Kentuckians wanting to give blood. Some Kentuckians are now off limits to be blood donors. This after mysterious cases popped up in the Miami area. Our Andrea Walker is following this breaking story at the alert desk. Andrea?
That's right, Sam. Because of those cases in Florida, anyone who has recently traveled to 2 South Florida counties can no longer donate blood. The FDA announced this move this afternoon. It comes at the height of vacation season. The reason? 4 cases of Zika in Florida involve people who haven't traveled outside the country. The cases raise the possibility that mosquitoes in the U.S. have begun to spread the virus to people who haven't traveled abroad. The Kentucky Blood Center says it will immediately stop taking blood donations from anyone who has traveled to Miami-Dade and Broward counties in Florida in the past 4 weeks. Now, this is the first time people who have traveled in the United States have been told not to donate blood. At the Alert Desk, Andrea Walker, WKYT.
Andrea, thank you. One person has died in a coal truck crash this morning. The crash happened on Kentucky 92 between Williamsburg and Pineville in Whitley County. Police say the truck went off the road and crashed in a ditch. No other vehicles were involved. Kentucky Vehicle Enforcement is trying to figure out what caused the crash. The Lexington Police Department is getting ready to start using body cameras.
The cameras will be part of patrols beginning in just a couple of weeks. WKYT's Caitlin Setner shows us how they'll be used.
Lexington Police has spent a lot of time looking into body cameras. I'm talking the last 2 years. They have those in hand now. They had wanted to make sure that when they roll these out, it all goes easily.
There's been a national push for body cameras, and now Lexington Police Department will be right on pace with many departments, including University of Kentucky Police Department. Body cameras were delivered just this week, making Lexington the second largest department in the state with cameras. In the initial rollout, 75 officers will be given 2 cameras. The cameras will be worn on the officer's collar, and it's to be turned on each time an officer has contact with citizens, whether it be along the lines of a traffic stop or an investigation. Commander Eric Lowe has been a huge supporter of the cameros, saying it's a relief they're finally here.
I'm very excited to actually get this project in motion. We've been working on it for a long time. We've been doing our due diligence research, looking at agencies across the country, looking at their policies, how they implemented the program, trying to learn lessons from some of the things that those agencies did well and maybe some things that they would have done, again, a different way with hindsight.
Lexington Police say these cameras will be in use by mid-August. In Lexington, Caitlin Setner, WKYT.
Officers will receive training before hitting the streets with the body cameras. Footage shot on the cameras will be stored for a minimum of 30 days.
Hillary Clinton makes history tonight as the first woman to accept a major party's nomination for president. Weijia Jiang shows us what Clinton is expected to say to the crowd.
Prominent female senators, including Elizabeth Warren and Barbara Mikulski, rehearsed at the Democratic National Convention. Tonight, Hillary Clinton becomes the first woman to accept the Democratic nomination for president. She made a surprise appearance with President Obama last night, but left shortly after to work on her speech.
You will hear her talk about how it takes a village. This campaign in 2016, we are talking about how we are stronger together.
Chelsea Clinton will introduce her mother. In an exclusive on the Today Show, she said she will give her unique perspective as Clinton's daughter.
I just hope that people understand even a little more when I'm done than when I started about why I love her so much and admire her so much.
In addition to celebrating diversity, Clinton will also use her speech to try to win the public's trust. Polls show a majority of voters think she's dishonest.
She just needs to show her vulnerabilities. That's her love for people, because we already know her strength. We just need to see her love.
Pop singer Katy Perry will perform. She'll sing one of the campaign's theme songs, Roar. It's become an anthem for empowering women. Weijia Jiang, CBS News, Philadelphia.
And tonight's lineup will include Democratic up-and-comers, including Texas Representative Joaquin Castro and Illinois Representative Tammy Duckworth. It's another sign. I love it. Football season is getting very close.
Coach Mark Stoops talking to UK alums during a lunch in Louisville. WKYT's Rob Bromley's here now with more on what Stoops had to say about this upcoming season.
Well, Mark Stoops and his coordinators over in Louisville today for the Greater Louisville Alumni Luncheon. The UK coach once again delivering the message that his team must take the next step this season by putting more check marks in the win column. Stoops said it all starts with the way his team practices when it hits the field for the first time this fall.
I just want to make sure they have that the endurance, you know, to be able to handle camp and be able to be able to practice more physical and to be able to practice longer is important. You know, you've heard me talk about many things, but you know, we have to be really in tune to the fine points of the game. The only way you do that is to practice and play. And you can't be so fragile where you can't handle what we're asking them to do.
And it is getting close. The players report for fall camp 1 week from today. Media Day is next Friday and Fan Day August 6th.
Football is upon us, Rob. Thank you. The Cats open the season against Southern Miss in just 37 days. We have a countdown for you on WKYT.com. A special gift today for a man who dedicated his life to teaching others how it will help him as he battles a degenerative disease.
And it's a way for people living in small towns to get improved health care. How they're benefiting from telemedicine in better living.
Heavy rains causing all kinds of problems across the area today. Straight ahead, I'm going to show you why the threat doesn't end this evening. I've got more rounds of thunderstorms for the weekend in just a moment. WKYT First Alert severe weather day rolls on. We've had waves of heavy rain producing showers and thunderstorms still targeting eastern Kentucky. Wet here as we look on the I-64 cam, Moorhead near the Farmers Sharkey exit there. We get into Jackson, we get into Corbin, heavy rain. Lexington, a little hint of some drying. Then we start to get a little drier back to the west of us with E-Town, Louisville, and Bowling Green actually seeing a little sunshine. Tropical sky that is out there right now in Lexington. Check that out. Maybe a hint of some sun coming in on that western horizon. Everything as green as you're going to get it. This has been the fourth consecutive summer, my friends, of where we have been well above normal in terms of thunderstorm action and rain in Kentucky. Past 3 summers that were also above normal in rainfall went on to produce 3 consecutive winters that were above normal in snowfall. Will we make it 4? It's early. 77 right now into Lexington. We look at the numbers, though, over the past 24 hours. Wow, swath of 2, 3, and local 4 inches showing up into much of central Kentucky, northeastern parts of the area. Then we had some additional hot spots showing up across the south with greater than 4 inches as well. Defender Radar Network. It's one of those patterns to where you cannot let your guard down with any thunderstorm that goes up. It's a tropical environment, a lot of juice in the atmosphere, so even those little small thunderstorms can put down a ton of rain tonight and tomorrow. Back edge of this steady band of rain is getting close to Interstate 75 here into southern Kentucky. Southern Kentucky right now, you are in the drink, though, from London to Corbin, over toward Barberville, into Middlesboro, Manchester, Hal Rogers Parkway, good folks into Whitesburg and Harlan with a lot of soggy conditions out there. Farther to the north, Jackson, a lighter brand of rain than what you've got coming into Beattyville, Boonville, and McKee. That's a heavier burst that is right on top of the area. I-64 had flooding into Mount Sterling, parts of Bath County as of now. That is slowly tapering off and a better sky on top of Lexington. Then we start to pick up on some thunderstorms going up between Louisville and Bowling Green. And notice how you're getting these little teeny tiny specks out ahead of that little band of some thunderstorms. That may be pointing the way. When you see that a lot of times, pointing the way to where that little complex of thunderstorms is going to try to head. Doesn't mean it's going to be a strong or severe complex of storms, just kind of showing the way where it is going to kind of run to. So Louisville area, up toward sections of the Ohio River, that may wander its way into the Bluegrass State. Front across southeastern Kentucky, it's really beginning to wash out. That means it's weakening. But another front is diving in from the northwest. Look at the thunderstorms here. That is the air mass we get in on tomorrow, so some booming storms around for our Friday. How about the evening ahead of us? Hour by hour, future radar. Look at that complex of storms now, trying to get into central Kentucky late this evening. This is one of those situations to where you get a flood watch, you drop a flood watch, you may issue a flood watch, you drop a flood watch. Maybe one of those things where we're just better off in letting it ride for 3 or 4 days. Next 3 days around here, we'll show some thunderstorms around tomorrow. Locally heavy downpours. Into Saturday, should see an increase in the heavy rain threat on Saturday with more showers and storms with a system that dives into the Ohio Valley. It's an actual low pressure that may be right on top of the area. It doesn't look a whole lot like the middle of summer in a setup like that. Storm or 2 around on Sunday as well. Hour by hour forecast. Showing some thunderstorms around tomorrow. This is a brand new version, so we're looking at it for the first time together. It updates at the top of every hour. We'll see what it does on Saturday. If it doesn't have very much storms with it, I'll toss it because I do think we'll have more storms than what this is showing on Saturday, but it's kind of giving you the hint that it is anticipating some storms with those temperatures that will be noticeably cooler. Keep an eye on late Friday afternoon, then again on Saturday. Some more high water issues will be a possibility. And even into next week, guys, we'll steam it up a little bit back into the upper 80s, but we keep the thunderstorm threat. 24 hours ago, compared to now, we are 2 to 4 inches wetter. Quite a bit of rain.
So we're really a long way from any of this really wrapping up for a while.
Right, yeah, and but tomorrow and Saturday will not be like today where it just rains all day.
Right.
It'll come at you in some waves, you'll get some sun, then all of a sudden, boom, thunderstorm could drop an inch or two.
Okay, all right. Thanks.
You bet.
Live look at Lexington rush hour traffic. Several collisions on the books right now, including one outbound Winchester Road just past the interstate. There's also a crash on Versailles Road now just before the airport and to the lifts. Drive times impacted to Versailles, not too bad once we get to the construction and past that non-injury collision. To Winchester on 64, it's a straight shot. Now back to the studio.
A Lexington ALS patient will soon have an easier time getting from place to place. The gift he received today up next.
A bizarre incident ends with a deputy and a suspect in the hospital. We'll tell you what happened on WKYT News at 5:30.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Unemployment has fallen in a majority of Kentucky counties. 64 counties saw their rates fall between June of last year and June of this year. Unemployment rose in 49 counties. It remained the same in 7. Woodford County has the lowest unemployment, while Magoffin County has the highest. ALS ended his teaching career after 4 decades and robbed him of his ability to function normally.
Today, a Lexington man received something that will surely make his life a little easier. Michelle Chamberlain shows us the gift in a story that's new at 5.
John Rose moved to Lexington with his wife after his 40-year career as a choir teacher in Florida.
Teenagers are traveling from wherever they are, going to college or from Florida. They're coming to Kentucky to visit. And they're coming to see their Mr. Rose because he means so much to them.
A former student says John always tried to get the best out of his students. But John's career came to an end when he was diagnosed with ALS in 2011.
His disease has developed a little more slowly than a lot of people with ALS, and we're thankful for that.
But over the last few years, the disease has taken away John's ability to eat, talk, and walk. His wife, Laura, says day-to-day life has become more and more challenging.
For me, as a caregiver, it had become so difficult over the last 6 months to get John in and out of a car safely. We stopped going anywhere.
Now, thanks to a national contest, Laura and John will be able to go where they want. From John's love for music grew the nonprofit called Where Every Child is a Star, which helps to educate students in the arts. John's desire to give and help others was paid back today in a much-needed way.
We hope this vehicle brings you all the dreams you ever had.
John was given a new wheelchair-accessible van after being named the Local Heroes Contest winner for National Mobility Awareness Month.
We were amazed. We were just amazed and so excited, and I think, just overjoyed.
What a blessing from God it is to be able to get out of the house more often.
John's so involved in music, so I'm going to buy some tickets and get him to some shows right away.
In Lexington, Michelle Chamberlain, WKYT.
Congratulations to John and his family on that. Laura Rose is dealing with health struggles as well. She's in need of a kidney donor. A close call for some central Kentucky families after flash flooding. We'll show you how water rose near their homes on WKYT News at 5:30. And we'll show you how small-town patients are getting big city health care without leaving home. That's next in Better Living.
It is time now for Better Living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. Technology is changing the way doctors practice medicine. Graham Alkin shows us how it's helping small communities receive care from big city doctors.
How long have you had chest pain? For a few days.
A trip to the emergency room can be scary, especially when the patient is having chest pains.
You said your heart was racing on you really fast?
But here at Point Capee General in New Roads, Dr. Will Freeman has a new tool to get a better and faster diagnosis.
No pneumothorax, no infiltrates.
A cardiologist on demand.
They can be on the screen within minutes and at the bedside with us while we're caring for the patient, both in an emergency situation and maybe a not-so-emergency situation.
Telemedicine is taking off in hospitals around the country. In this case, Point Capee links up with Our Lady of the Lake. Dr. Joseph Dumite can assess an ER patient from the comfort of his office.
We can do almost anything we can do face-to-face. I mean, we can listen to their heart, we can look at their EKG, we look at their blood test.
Do you get short of breath?
He can also talk directly with the patient and move the camera around the room.
Even though the doctor in this machine is some 40 miles away, it often allows the patient to stay in their own community. That makes a huge difference.
Before this technology, patients were often transferred to bigger hospitals just in case. This system reduces those unnecessary and expensive trips.
They like going into Baton Rouge, but they really like the care they can receive at their local home hospital. They're very comforted by the fact that they're taken care of by friends and family.
Dr. Dumite and his colleagues are available 24 hours a day. They can even use the system on their iPhone if they're away from the office.
We want them to feel comfortable to call us, and that's what we're here for.
The hope is that better communication leads to better outcomes. Graham Olkins.
Now, here's what's coming up for you at 5:30.